All right, let's dive right into a masterclass on solution selling. In the next few minutes, we're going to unpack one of the most powerful B2B frameworks ever developed, one that's designed to completely transform how you approach sales.
So, what exactly is solution selling? At its heart, this framework, which was coined by Michael Bosworth, is all about a fundamental paradigm shift. It's not about what your product is or the features it has. It's about the real, tangible transformation you can create for your customer's business. It's all about their future state, not your current product.
And this all starts with a change in mindset. The guiding philosophy is incredibly simple, yet honestly, it's profound. Stop selling and start serving. Now, this isn't just some catchy phrase, it's the operational command for every single action you take within this framework.
Okay, so to actually serve your customers effectively, you have to adopt two critical roles. First, you need to operate as a doctor of selling. I mean, think about it. You wouldn't trust a doctor who just prescribed you medicine without a thorough diagnosis, right? The exact same principle applies here. Second, you have to provide the insight edge. Buyers today have already done about 70% of their research before they even talk to you. So your job isn't to give them basic info. It's to provide that unique perspective that makes them smarter. So how do we put this whole philosophy into practice? Well, solution selling gives us a really clear 3-chapter framework that guides us all the way from that initial diagnosis to building unstoppable deal momentum. These are the 3 core phases. It all kicks off with diagnostic discovery, where your job is to uncover the true burning need. From there, you move on to value alignment. This is where you build a solid bridge connecting your solution directly to that problem. And finally, you create strategic momentum to guide the buyer to a confident, easy decision. All right, let's break down Chapter 1, Diagnostic Discovery. The entire goal here is to become a detective. You're doing a deep investigation. It's all about separating the genuine prospects who have a real burning need from the suspects who are just, kind of browsing. And this requires 3 core skills. First, the power of questioning. You got to use those open-ended questions, the who, what, and why, to get the prospect to open up and tell you what's really on their mind. Second is a technique called the 7 levels of why. This is where you dig past a surface need like, we need a new CRM, to find the true emotional driver, which might be a deep-seated fear of falling behind competitors. And finally, active listening. Want to know the acid test? Paraphrase their points back to them. The moment they say, yes, that's exactly right, you've struck gold. You've unlocked genuine understanding and built powerful rapport. And this brings us to a core mantra of the whole discovery process, summed up perfectly by Brian Tracy. Your job isn't to tell them anything. It's to ask the right questions that lead the prospect to their own conclusions. Okay, so once you've deeply diagnosed the pain, you're ready for Chapter 2, Value Alignment. This is where you start building a solid bridge that connects their specific problem directly to your unique solution. Building this bridge involves 3 key actions. First up, benefit translation. Look, customers don't really care about your fancy features. They care about the outcome. It's what the product does, not what it is. Second, stakeholder orchestration. In B2B, you're rarely selling to just one person. You're dealing with a whole decision ecosystem of 6 to 10 different people. You need a strategy for all of them. And third, you need decision-moving content, tools like ROI calculators that make the buying decision feel not just easy, but logical. And that brings us to the final stage, Chapter 3, Strategic Momentum. The deal is diagnosed. The value is aligned. Now you have to proactively manage the process and eliminate the single biggest deal killer there is, the fear of failure. So to secure that commitment, you need assertive guidance. This means you take control of the process to avoid that dreaded, let me think it over trap where deals go to die. You also use risk reversal, offering powerful guarantees that take the fear of making a bad decision completely off the table. And finally, you get procurement alignment by being totally transparent with your pricing and ROI, building crucial trust with the financial gatekeepers. Understanding the framework is one thing, but adopting the right mindset is absolutely everything. This next section highlights the crucial distinction between a world-class, solution-centric approach and the all-too-common product-centric way of doing things. Now, this slide is really interesting because it clearly lays out 2 opposing worlds. The wrong way is product-centric. It's all about pushing what the factory makes, with a manipulative, inside-out perspective. The world-class way is solution-centric,
an outside-in view that's focused on co-creating a transformation with the customer. It's a shift from thinking in linear funnels to non-linear flywheels, where your happy customers create momentum that brings in new business. It's a total move away from talking about features and toward focusing only on measurable outcomes.
So the crucial point here is to avoid these common traps. Feature dumping is the #1 mistake, just obsessing over your product specs instead of the value that actually lands in the customer's bucket. Another one is chasing short-term tactical wins instead of patiently building education and trust over the long haul. And please, never forget, complex, high-value decisions require a calm, seated environment for reflection, not a rushed standing-up pitch.
So we have the theory, and we've got the mindset. Now for what I think is the most important part, putting it into practice. How do we turn this entire framework into concrete action? Let's take a look at a few examples of companies that are executing this absolutely flawlessly out there in the real world. Check out Living Optics. They didn't just go out and create a bunch of ads. They built a strategic messaging framework first, based entirely on customer needs. Or companies like Rod Radar and Kip FinTech. They're accelerating huge deals by using decision content, like ROI simulators that prove the value in black and white. And of course, Salesforce is a master at this. They use what they call industry expertise strips, super targeted reports and press releases, to build their authority and earn trust. And here is your blueprint for implementation. First, map the real decision path by understanding the why behind each customer action. Second, unify your sales and marketing teams with shared KPIs focused on value. Third, use digital sales rooms to make the buying process completely seamless. And finally, adopt the 20 idea method, a daily discipline of brainstorming how to double the value you provide. It's a game changer. You know, this quote from Peter Drucker perfectly captures the ultimate goal of that outside-in perspective. When you achieve this level of deep understanding, the need for a hard sell, it just evaporates. The solution becomes the obvious natural choice. And in the end, everything we've talked about today, the diagnosis, the value alignment, the risk reversal, it all comes down to this one foundational concept from Stephen Covey. The entire solution selling framework is really just an operational model for building and scaling trust. And in business, that is the ultimate currency.